Alright guys, Limo here, and today we're gonna talk about the no BS way to text girls. Like how to actually text a girl. Not some fluff you've seen in those pickup artist courses or those red pill videos. Some real shit that truly works and that gets girls to actually reply to you. Now, have you ever found yourself texting a girl and then you understood that she wasn't actually interested, like you were just chit-chatting for nothing? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to avoid that and how to actually text in a way that gets to the point, in a way that girls actually reply and they're excited to have a meetup with you afterwards. Now, first of all, you need to understand that texting is only one part of the equation. Texting is actually not the most important thing. The most important thing is how you portray yourself online. If you're cold DMing her, she's gonna have to obviously check your profile and see how you look like, what type of life you're living, etc. So that's a big part of the equation. Because I see a bunch of low status dudes like trying to emulate what I teach them or trying to emulate what they see online, but they're low status, like their online presence sucks. And so no matter what they text, it's probably not gonna lead to a lot of results. So you have to understand that, if you're a high value guy, you can get away with a lot of things. And if you have a high status online presence, you're way more likely to get replies and to get girls to be interested in you. Now, one thing is, the purpose of texting is to meet up in real life. True connection is built in real life. You are not texting her to sexualize things or to be building some crazy rapport there. Like, texting should be to the point. That's my philosophy. When I text a girl, yes, I build a bit of rapport. Yes, I ask her a few questions, but I'm to the point. Like, I try to set up a date after 5 to 10 back and forths. I'm not gonna be chit-chatting with her like for 2 weeks before proposing something. Now, when it comes to texting, one big hack that I've noticed is voice notes. When you're able to confidently and just spontaneously fire up some voice notes, like you can just send a voice note instead of texting. First of all, the girls are way more likely to reply because it's more mysterious, it's more intriguing than a text. And with voice notes, they can feel what kind of guy you are. They can tell from your voice, from how you speak, from the pace, the strength, everything, in your voice, there's a lot of things that can be sub-communicated. The tonality, the pace, the strength, all these things are going to sub-communicate things. And when you're able to do voice notes instead of texts, you are way more likely to have a date, and it builds more rapport actually. So whenever I can, I try to avoid to text too much, and I try to actually do voice notes whenever I can. So for example, I know that on Hinge and on Bumble, you can do voice notes. On Tinder, you can't do voice notes. Now, obviously on Instagram, WhatsApp, you can do voice notes as well. So I try to do voice notes as much as I can. Otherwise, I text. Now, when it comes to texting, right, the first big mistake that I see guys do is they overinvest too much from the beginning. They send like a big paragraph as a first text, or they send like some long ass, first message. You don't want to do that. You want to be to the point. My first message is very simple. I just send their name, or I just send something very, very simple, like city, question mark. So if she lives in Paris, I could send like Paris, question mark. That's it. Or if her name is Sarah, that's it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, hey, I saw on your profile that you were a yoga teacher and I used to do yoga too. And oh, you're so pretty, by the way, blah, blah, blah. And like, no. Also, one thing is you never want to compliment them online, ideally, okay? You don't want to say you're cute, you're beautiful, you look sexy, all that stuff. They're already getting a lot of validation online, so don't give them unnecessary validation and unnecessary attention. Also, whenever I text a girl, I don't follow her or comment on her pictures. The guys who are commenting on girls' pictures, they're not the guys who are fucking her. The guys who are fucking her are not going to be found in her comment section. So don't comment on her pictures. Don't like her pictures. Don't watch her stories every day, because otherwise you're going to look like a fan. And if you treat her like a celebrity, naturally she's going to treat you like a fan, and she's going to feel like, this guy is already kissing my ass, online. So I don't know, maybe I'm going to go with this other guy who seems like more intriguing or who seems like more detached, right? So that's one thing. My mentor used to tell me, pretty ain't a pass, pretty ain't a pass, which means like, if she's pretty, it's not a pass. Like, you're not going to kiss her ass just because she's pretty. So ignore her beauty. Just ignore it. Even if she's super hot, ignore it. And ideally, don't watch her pictures too much, because you're going to get in your head and you're going to start overthinking what to say. If she's a 9 or a 10, just text her like she's a 3, right? Like, just be super detached. So that's one thing. Also, when you text a girl, don't be all emotional and send a bunch of emojis, right? Emojis are emotional. And who is more emotional, men or women? And so in your texting, you have to maintain a certain polarity. You don't want to be the one who is more emotional in his texting. Ideally, she's the one sending you emojis. She's the one sending you like the monkey emoji like that, or the hearts, or like the kind of the shy emoji, You're not the one sending her hearts and shy emojis and like monkeys, hiding their eyes like that. You see what I mean? Like, girls do that. So when you are texting her, keep your masculine frame. Just be to the point without emojis, and don't text her too much. Just a few very concise sentences or a few words like that. That's it. Ideally, she's the one texting you more than you do. Like, if she sends you 1 or 2 blocks of text, you don't want to send more than 1 or 2 blocks of text as well. If you send like 3 big paragraphs and she only sent you like a tiny little sentence, then that's not good. And women can subconsciously pick up on that. So make sure that when you text women, you are investing less than them in the conversation, or you are eliciting more investment. Like, you are asking them questions, you are qualifying them so that they're the ones, qualifying themselves to you and investing more than you do. So that's very, very important. Now, you always want to initiate things online. Now, Bumble is great because the girls initiate, but otherwise you initiate things. You're the one DMing the girl. You're the penetrative force. The same way you penetrate her in bed, you have to penetrate her on her DMs, on a cold approach, on whatever. Okay, you initiate the approach. And the girl decides whether she wants to talk with you or not. And that's going to be highly based on your profile, your photos, your bio, the number of followers you have, the social proof you have. Sometimes I'm texting a girl and she sees that her friends follow me, and so she's way more likely to reply to me. So it's great, if you know that you're going to stay in a given city, it's great to follow a bunch of girls in that city, so that you have a bunch of girls following you back. And so every time you DM a few girls, you have like friends in common. Now I've been living in Tallinn, Estonia for 2-3 years, and I've pretty much DM'd all the girls in the city. Like, I've DM'd at least 3,000 girls, 5,000 girls. Minimum, way more, I think. Pretty much 10,000, I think. And every time I DM a girl, I have other girls that follow that girl. And so she can see that they follow me as well. And so it's a lot of rapport, man. It's a lot of rapport when they can see that as well. Now, when you text a girl, also avoid abbreviations like, hey, sup, are you aight? Or when you write like tonight, like with an 8, or like you make like abbreviations, right? You don't want to do that. Also, one thing, you don't want to double text. You want to avoid double texting at all costs, because it always invites double ghosting. When a girl sees that you're double texting, she can tell like, oh, this guy is really like, he really wants my reply, and it just looks unattractive. So ideally, like, sometimes it happened to me today, actually. Today I was texting a girl and I just replied to her right now, but I sent her a text 2 weeks ago. I sent her a text 2 weeks ago and I didn't double text, and she replied to me today. She replied to me today and she gave me her number. And if I had double texted, and if I had followed up every single time, then maybe she wouldn't have replied. But now she saw that I didn't give a fuck if she didn't reply or not. So she gave me her number. And now we're texting. So it's very important that you respect yourself and you just don't give your attention away for free if the girl is not that interested, and if the girl is not progressing in the conversation. If the girl is not progressing in the conversation, fuck her, on to the next. Don't give her unnecessary validation by double texting her. Hey, by the way, thanks again for listening to this podcast. If you're on Spotify or Apple or Google, all I ask from you is to put a 5-star review in whatever platform you're using. I'm not asking anything from you. I'm not running any ads, any sponsorship, anything. All I'm asking is, if you enjoy this podcast, leave a 5-star review so that we can increase our rank and people can hear more about this podcast. And if you have any friends of yours who are interested in learning more about dating, about making money, about networking, traveling, then definitely share this podcast with your friends. I will be forever grateful. And thanks again for watching this podcast. And by the way, if you reshare this podcast on your story on Instagram, I will reshare it and repost it myself and tag you in my story as well. So now that I've said this, let's continue with the podcast. Now, I'm going to give you a caveat here. Sometimes I will double text. Sometimes, but very rarely. And I will only do it once, and I will only do it in a way that's smooth. Maybe I'm going to send her a meme or something funny or something that looks cool, you know? So that's one thing. Now, you want to avoid falling into the trap of letting her lead the conversation. Always lead the conversation. Be proactive. Be the one asking her questions. Be the one qualifying her. Be the one, you know, just making moves and potentially proposing something like a drink or stuff like that. And that's it. And the conversation structure is very simple. At first, you're going to send her a first message. Then you're going to build a bit of rapport. You're going to ask her what she does here. Sometimes I say, oh, so what do you do here besides breaking hearts? And I'm going to ask her if she lives here. How long has she been living here? I can ask her also things like, are you 100% ethnicity? So are you 100%, for example, now I'm in Estonia. So I would say, are you 100% Estonian? If I was in Russia, I would say, oh, are you 100% Russian? If I was in America, I could ask girls like, oh, are you 100% American? And that's going to lead to us, you know, talking about our ethnicities, our background. Then I could ask her things like, oh, so have you ever dated like a French guy because I'm French? Or have you ever been to Paris because I'm from Paris? And I could ask all of these things. And then after a few back and forths, I'm going to ask her what her plans are, for example, for this weekend, what cool things she's doing, what she likes to do, blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes I could flirt more and I could sexualize more. I teach that on my programs too. Sometimes I could do a bunch of stuff. You know, I could send a voice note and build more rapport. I could comment on something I see on her profile. There's a lot of things I could do. But after a few back and forths, I will propose something. I'm going to say, hey, you know what? You seem pretty fun. So I'm kind of, this is called a soft qualifier. When you say, oh, you know what? You're actually this. Oh, you know what? You're actually pretty fun. Let's have a cool drink sometime. See if we get along, right? That's what I say. And notice how I say, see if we get along. I'm not like, oh, please, let's have a drink. Like, no. Hey, you know what? You seem fun. Let's have a drink together, see if we get along, see if we're gonna vibe. Not sure we're gonna vibe. I don't know yet. I'm not bought in yet, but let's see if we get along, right? That's the frame here. You're not bought in yet. You don't know. You're interested, but you're not like chasing her or you don't need her at all. And then she's gonna say, why not? Or yes, or oh, cool, yeah, no. And then you wanna either transition into WhatsApp or whatever. If you're already on WhatsApp or some messaging app, you can just, because the thing is, look, if you propose a date on Tinder, you don't want to stay on Tinder. You don't want to follow up on Tinder. So you have to grab her number to then text her on WhatsApp or somewhere else. Same thing on Instagram. I try to avoid like following up on Instagram after we agree to meet up. If we agree to meet up, then I will say, hey, you know what? Shoot me your number or shoot me your WhatsApp. We're going to follow up from there for the location and the time, right? Because I don't want to stay on the app. I always want to move to somewhere more intimate. And WhatsApp is a lot more intimate than Instagram. Instagram is noisy. There's a bunch of guys DMing her. Tinder, same thing. It's very noisy. She's getting all the other matches, etc. However, WhatsApp is different. WhatsApp is more like unique. You know, it's for people that you're going to actually meet, not for some guy that you're just matching with. It becomes like more serious when you're transitioning to a real phone number or WhatsApp. You see what I mean? So understand that. And that's what I do. And then I propose something. So this is a very simple structure. It's very easy. Now, there are so many nuances when it comes to texting. Now, one thing that I've been incorporating as well to my text game, and I've been doing this for years, by the way, and it has saved me tons of hours of me texting for nothing, is the implementation of clipboards. So clipboards, it's a feature that you can have on your keyboard. Not every keyboard has that. You need to download an app that I give my clients, or there's a bunch of apps on the App Store that have clipboards. And what clipboards allow you to do is it allows you to pre-save a sentence on your keyboard so you don't have to retype it every single time, because there's always some sentence you're going to say. Your text game should be unique to some extent, but it should also be very standardized. Like, you should have a system that pretty much works for every girl, and you should have sentences and things you say that pretty much work for every girl. That way it's kind of streamlined. You don't need to think every time, oh, should I say this, should I say that, oh, what should I say now? No, you have like a system that's streamlined. So myself, that's what I do. I have a system, I know exactly what I'm texting, and all the sentences that I always say, I save them on my clipboard so that every time I want to say something, I don't have to retype it. I don't have to retype the whole sentence. I just take my clipboard, I just tap on it, and then the sentence is already pre-written, and I just have to press send. So that's what I do, and it's very, very useful. And even for business, by the way, for business, when I talk to prospects or clients, for example, there's always going to be a point where I'm going to send them a resource, or I'm going to point them to my website, or I'm going to point them to a link to book a call. Well, instead of having to retype the whole sentence, I can just have it pre-saved on my clipboard. That way I can just fire it instead of retyping it. I can just like tap, then it's already pre-written, and then I just press send. So that's very, very useful when it comes to texting as well. So there's so many other things that I would love to share with you when it comes to texting, but I don't want to make this video too long. And so if you're serious about getting 1 to 3 dates a week consistently and attracting your dream woman, then check the link in the description. We have a premium community with guys all over the world where you can learn all my systems step by step with plenty of resources, plenty of videos, everything explained, and you can also join me on weekly calls every single week. So if you're serious, check out the link in the description. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a like, follow me if you don't follow me yet, and yeah, don't hesitate to drop a comment. I'm always open to feedback, and I'll see you very, very soon.